the end and I'm about to agree to something that I shouldn't agree to. It's Monday and we're in the yard. We're about to start the work on the 45-foot flatbed fitting the lock boxes, but before that I'm going to introduce you to one of the new members of the team. Drum roll please. Introducing the 4-ton forklift telehandler, the Manitou 1840. You know I had to get something which was all-terrain because, of course, I managed to find myself in a yard knee-deep in mud again. No matter where I go, it follows me. But this is nothing for this forklift. Look at the wheels on that. This is the sort of thing that you could see on a farm moving hay round. Shout out to the farmers, you're getting a very hard deal. We support you. We got this little chart here that's meant to tell you what it can do safely. Once you put the support legs down, that boom just extends and extends and extends. And it has begun to rain, of course. Look at that. What air seat. Spacious cab, very comfortable in here. Nice. Fired up right away. We're off balance a little bit, so the first thing we're going to do is put our legs down. There we go, nice and level. Windshield wipers. Of course, we've got the guard on the front as well. To go through the controls, the red button here, forward is going straight, in the middle is neutral, and click on the back, and that's reverse. So we have a joystick here, finger on the button, and here we go. Up we go, up we go, up we go, up we go. The bottom one is to bring the forks in and out. This side, we tip upwards, and this side, we tip downwards. Oh, the sun's out, we like that. And we extend the boom. On the rolling, Daniel is rolling on the rolling. Everything looks good, I'm checking my mirrors. I'm taking my time. Yes, I could put my foot down and go a lot faster, just taking my time, making sure I don't see any problems anywhere. This thing just keeps going. So I got a little safety warning asking me to retract the boom. Let's try to restabilize. I believe we're level. We're gonna go for it again. My God, this thing is still going. We're fully extended. This is capable of lifting a pallet onto any level of scaffold, but I think that will be a maximum of about 400 kilos where we are there. Obviously, it's not going to be 4 tons, but as you can see, this forklift is a monster. So far, we've given her a service. She's only got 1,100 hours on her. I'm in two minds. I asked Michael O'Donovan, should I buy a bucket for this thing? Now, looking here, and here, you can defo put a bucket on it. But in the past, when I have put buckets on telehandlers, people have absolutely destroyed them because they'd be driving into the material pile at 200 miles an hour. Should I do it? Do I want to provide the facility to get us out of stock if we need to move some sand and stone around? Or am I just going to be crying about it a year later, saying the boom is damaged, what are we going to do? This is scrap. I'm furious. I've lost everything. All that's left on this is a set of new tires and an immobilizer. Other than that, she's good to go and is a tidy bit of kit. Nice. My townie waits for no man or no camera. He soldiered on without me. Angle, bolted to the back. On the inside, washers, nuts, bolts to hold it in place. Now, we have bolted these brackets to the chassis. This and the brackets either side, once we bolt through, will take the weight. And at that point, the weakest point of it is going to be the bottom of this. These brackets are made by ABBA, the bodybuilder, that bolt onto the chassis for the underrun bar on the back of the tippers. We had a couple spare, 3 to be exact, so I've called ABBA and they know the exact bracket because he said,
is there an S on it?
And these brackets are galvanized. Now this is the driver side. We are ordering just the near side, and hopefully that will be with us today or tomorrow, and then we'll be able to fit the other lockbox as well. But we have a little bit of a problem where we're going to fit the other lockbox. So I got a bit excited when I ordered the 2 of them, and it can't in fact go on the opposite side. Me rushing around, here's the valve to change the height of the trailer. So of course we are not going to fit it here, but we have some space up the trailer where we think it should work. So these cyclist rails can be opened up. We should be able to still fit this here, support it in the same way with the bracket on the back sitting on the chassis, and then the 2 ABBA brackets either side. Then we can pull this out and we can raise this to make sure we can get to it. Problems keep coming in our direction, but we seem to be finding solutions, and cost-effective ones as well, which I like. One bolt in to hold it in place. Ready. My battery died.
Good. LOUISY.
You're doing this and I'm going to miss it all.
Good.
There's a new development in the saga of these shipping containers, and I think that this is a real brainwave which could change things, but at the same time could complicate things. I was driving along and I saw a shipping container. You might think,
yeah, that's normal.
Then I looked on the back and I saw a motor, and I was like, hold on, what's going on here? And the shipping container caught my eye because it was in the right color. In St. Lucia, the Ashville brand is white with like a bit of sky blue. So I started to investigate and I found out it is what we call a reefer container, used to ship perishable items like food and pharmaceuticals across the world and try to keep them at a certain temperature, nice and refrigerated. I found out then that they also come in a high cube, which is perfect. And probably most important of all for me is the fact that they are insulated to try to keep the cold in and the heat out. Now, the reason I say it could complicate matters, with this insulation, it could get a little bit smaller. I think it will be roughly 2.3 internally. Because of the motor on the back of them and because they're a specialist item, people tend to hold on to them and they continually fix them and they keep them in circulation. So whereas you may get away with a 40-foot high cube shipping container for, I don't know, 1,400 quid, you're looking at around £4,300 for one of these high cube reefer containers. Now you may think,
why is he getting paid all that money?
Well, I'm trying to weigh this up here. Once they got to St. Lucia and I got all of my kit out, I was going to board them, and some of them cut windows out of them, make them an office or a mess room for staff, put some aircon in there. Now that's going to cost money. Then I got to spend the money to board it. That is a lot of time, it's a lot of work. If I can get one of these reefer containers, which is already insulated. The items which are stored, it can keep those cool and away from 30 degrees of sun. And then if it's going to be an office, use the existing insulation and do my electrics on trunking. So I don't have to open up any of the walls and go through any of the headache of spraying and boarding and trying to make it nice and all of this. I can use it the way it has been designed. So I am now trying to weigh up where I am going to find these and ensure. It would be better if the generator wasn't working on the back of it, because I'd get it a little bit cheaper, and I want it to be in white as well, so I can spend less time doing loads of undercoats and trying to get it to the color I need it to be. But we will see how we get on. The plan continues to evolve and develop. Let's do a little recap on our repair and upgrade plans. The 25 tonner, we're there or thereabouts. The only thing I need to do now is fit an immobilizer. The 9-ton dumper, we fit the towing hitch, we gave it a full service, we sorted out the amber beacon on the top. We have a new knob on top of the gear stick, a new seat, changed the internal part of the lock on the bonnet, and this steering ram, this bush and pin had to be changed because there was far too much play in it. We gave it a service, we changed the axle oils, and I believe the only thing outstanding now is putting a new set of tyres on it, because I'm not taking it with that set of tyres, but I will keep those tyres as spare, and fit an immobilizer. Then we have the 3-tonner. Put a new battery on it last week, gave it a full service. It's only got 1,500 hours on it, so it doesn't need much at all, and it's a 2022. We fit the plastics perspex on it like we did on the 25-tonner, but what I do need is an immobilizer fitted, and I want to take a spare set of rubber tracks and a couple of buckets. On the 40-foot flatbed trailer with twist locks, you saw we got the galvanized posts. They will keep the loads nice and safe. My townie had to fit a couple of dust covers. We had to change a brake chamber. We're gonna have to fit the A plates on the headboard. We're gonna have to fit a camera on it, but before we do that, we need to get it right within the tractor unit. And we'll wanna put a new set of tires on it. And then over to the tractor unit. We've got a little bit of a leak coming from the roof. We thought it was the sunroof. We sealed everything up, but there still seems to be a bit of water coming in when it's raining. The service we did was a big one. We changed all of the axle oils as well. There was a little panel on the side of the gear stick which was missing, but I went to Volvo and bought it and propped it on. So I feel like if you do all of the bits and pieces and you can get the truck there in very good nick, then it will be looked after a lot better. Anti-siphon on the diesel tanks. And we had a new slide-in fifth wheel fitted that we can adjust so we can put different trailers on. Click here to watch the video when I decided on making the purchase of this vehicle and the other vehicles which I was considering in the lead up to purchasing it, and also find out how much I paid for it. Other than that, it's getting the camera system right. So we have driver camera, right, left, front, back, and when we plug in each of the trailers, it works perfectly to give the driver the best chance of being safe on the road. A new set of tires and immobilizer, and then over to the low loader. Fitted the new secure lock boxes on the swan neck already. They used to be straps securing the ramps. We've changed those for chains. We changed a bit of timber up and down the bed, which was rotten. We need to fit the camera system to work with the tractor unit and fit new tires. Then we have the Mercedes Sprinter, which has had a full service. We've changed the brake pads, front and back. We've upgraded the suspension from 1 leaf to 4. There were a couple internal panels which I replaced, which were missing, like the window surround and a few others. You know, just doing it so it's 100%. In case you don't know, the back can tip, and we have twist locks fitted into the bed so we can take different units off and change it over. And I had to buy a spare key for this, which cost me 400 squids, which I'm not happy about, but there wasn't a lot that can be done because Mercedes have it on lock, but a spare key was most definitely needed. There is no ECU in this at the moment because the lads came and took it out last week. And then probably the only things left on this are some new tires, and then deciding what else I would like to put onto a frame which will fit onto the twist locks to give us more usability. Work on lockbox number 1 is complete. We should have the missing bracket from ABBA tomorrow. While we're waiting, we're going to make a start on putting the A plates, which welder Fabber made for us, 1 in each corner on the back, 1 in each corner on the front. We're going to put some A plates on the low loader as well, just on the corners. And once the bracket arrives, we'll make a start trying to fit it on there so we can get the lockboxes complete. And that's it in the yard for a rainy Monday. It's Tuesday morning and I'm in the yard. Somebody contacted me about buying the generator, and as there's no trust in the world, they asked me to send them a video of it working. And of course, the best in the business fixed it. So we just had to flick the isolator, press 2 buttons actually, and it fired up immediately. And I think those lads are going to try and export it because they asked me if this exhaust could be taken off and then fit inside for shipping, to which I said, no lads, it is not possible. You don't understand how big that exhaust is. But what we could do is just use the machine and take it off ourselves like you've seen us do in the past. And 100% I've decided we are going for the high cube reefer containers in a white finish. Now the steel you saw delivered, we're going to use that to build these to replicate. Underneath here, there's a bit that sticks out. There's a hole going through it that you can put the padlock through, and then you create this box to make it that bit more difficult for people who want to take an angle grinder to it. Now, you're never going to stop anyone getting in there completely, but this is a deterrent and makes it a lot more difficult. On each of the containers, we're probably going to put 1 down here and then put 1 up here. And I've double checked, and that should not affect the seaworthiness of the high cube reefer container because it's going to arrive with the seaworthy stamp or plate already on the side of it. So any little additions like this shouldn't make a difference whatsoever, but mean that when I get there, because I will not lock it when it's being shipped, because if customs want to get into it, they'll just cut the whole door off to do so. It's only when I get to St. Lucia, once it's out of customs, once all is clear, then I will slip on the padlocks. I bought myself some spray paint last night. I bought white because that'll help us touch up the front of the containers when they get here. I got some yellow to sort out the back of the dumper, and I got some red for the flatbed for the work we're about to do, and I got some black for the low loader. Now, I'm not saying I'm going spraying all of them, but if we do a little bit of work using a bit of hammerite, we'll just protect against rust, take the edge off it and make it look nice. Scuffing off all the contaminants like paint, rust and grease on both surfaces to expose the bare metal. This ensures proper electric contact so the base metals fuse completely and prevent any gas pockets from forming. Then we scuff off again to clean the new weld and prepare for paint. Bit of red paint over the top of that should make this lovely. You'll notice that on the low loader, we did the A around that cutout. That's just in case in the future you needed to put a plug there. As soon as my paint arrives, I will give both a little touch up. And now it's time for another installment of versus battle mode. There's a battle in my mind, and that's being the owner of the site in St. Lucia and having a public profile and spreading the word, or being behind the scenes and quiet. Now, there's a number of arguments for this, and you could say that in this day and age, owners of all the largest businesses in the world have a profile. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson. I'm not saying it inspires trust. I'm saying that you know who the owners are and they build their own public profile. And you could also argue that having a public profile opens a lot more doors. And they say that fame compounds. So the more famous you are, the easier it is to become even more famous. And you could look at it like, if you have a public profile, you have more opportunities because more brands are going to want to work with you, in theory. But then there's the flip side of that. What if something happens out of your control in your personal life, and then that acts detrimentally against the business? Whereas if you're a private owner and no one ever knew who you were, then it wouldn't affect it in the slightest. And then there's telling everybody what you're doing and lifting your head above the parapet. Because when you lift your head above the parapet, that's when, pew, that's when you put a target on your back. But in this day and age, is that not how business is done? And isn't that what people do? Do people not want to familiarize themselves with the owner of a brand? Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who can't stand me. If I have advertised that this is my development and I'm running it, there are people who will say,
I'm not going there because of him.
I've alienated possible people. Or you could argue that my profile and Ashville Weekly and the series and the videos and the channel isn't even that big, and it's not going to make much of a difference at all. And let's just say in a worst case scenario, things don't work out for you, then you have the public humiliation and shame, but you can't live your life in fear. On the flip side, if you never tell anyone you're the owner, then you may actually have some peace and quiet in your life. So what do? Do you keep it quiet and stay below the radar, or do you use your public profile and try to multiply that so you can grow brand awareness for both the establishment and yourself, and use a level of fame and people knowing who you are as a luck multiplier? Pros and cons of both. What do you do? Hey, so the delivery of our bracket, the delivery man just decided that he was just going to send it to the old yard. Wishful thinking, you know what I mean, Si?
Good job I'm here,
And
innit?
obviously Simon was here, the accountant, to accept it, who has not pushed me today. Click here to watch an Ashville Weekly a long time ago, when Simon became violent, when I made his paperwork blow all over the office. He wants to throw me out the weighbridge. Here we go.
Smash up the place.
It has arrived. Look, so did you hear the sly comment? He's got the Power Day high vis on, but he's still got the Ashville tracksuit bottoms. He has still got
Just
the
comfy, they're comfy, that's all it is.
How are we, Si?
Yeah, all good, thanks, all good, yeah, mate, yeah, everything's ticking along.
Any of the old drivers coming in?
Yeah, you see a few old faces here and there.
You don't need to tell me that you miss me, Si. I am well aware.
It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
And never a chore.
Never a chore, that's it, you know.
All right, I'm heading back to the yard in the rain, and me and my townie are going to try and get this on and get that lockbox sorted. Thank you, Si.
No worries, good luck.
See you, mate. Is this right?
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Perfect. Using the mag drill to bore the holes for the bracket bolts. This magnetic base locks on to ensure accuracy, and I'm just giving a bit of pressure to assist while my townie closely monitors the progress.
When this is on, it affects magnetism. It's like a seal. Lovely jubbly. Yeah. Hello.
We're 90% there, but we're not going to finish today because it's already 4:30 and we are absolutely drenched. But at least it's locked in place so we can get this finished ASAP. That's it from the yard today, but it is not the end of the day as of yet. It's Tuesday evening. I'm not in the yard. I've come out for a catch-up in central London, and he's back by popular demand.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
While we have the doctor, MBE, OBE, let's ask him a couple of legal questions. There are a number of people with their own businesses or looking to start their own businesses. And you know me, over the years, I've always been more practical than contractual.
Well, first disclaimer, I do not provide free legal advice. You pay for it, but I'm happy to give you information for educational purposes.
So let's say you're starting out in business, you're trying to win jobs, You don't want to try to throw the word contract into it because, you know, it's very fragile, and you don't want to scare people away. You want to make sure you win the work, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you don't get robbed, and you try to tie people down so you don't end up being a busy fool.
The first thing is that you need some form of working agreement. So whether it's a statement of work, there needs to be some sort of documentation outlining what the role and goal expectations are in the working relationship. If you don't feel comfortable using the word contract, a way of doing it is having your terms of work in the invoice. So you send an invoice before payment's made, and you set out what the terms of work would, and that would include when you expect for that invoice to be paid, what happens if there are circumstances beyond your control, which means the work can't be done, if there is an issue in relation to work, the method in which that's to be resolved. If there is a dispute, you can say, well, before the work was undertaken, I had given you my terms of work, and by virtue of you paying, you've agreed to that term of work. My preference would always be to have a contract, but obviously I'm not someone that works in your line of work, and sometimes your line of work is often based on good faith, will, and a conversation, but you can sometimes formalize that through an invoice because you have to send an invoice anyway.
Okay, and how do you feel about people using like new tools like ChatGPT to try and create agreements?
I would advise against it. I think the difficulty that you have with ChatGPT is that ChatGPT is very good for administrative tasks. Law is very context specific, and it doesn't understand your relationship. It doesn't have an understanding of like legal precedent. It's an output resource, so it gives you what you put in. And if you're wrong about something, you're not gonna know, you're just gonna simply rely on ChatGPT. So let's say, for example, right, I say, Chat, draft me a contract in relation to construction. It will just draft you a generic contract. But what if, for example, you need a specific contract that was a 30-day roll around? It wouldn't necessarily do that. It would need you to input it. It would also not have an understanding of specific laws, because if there is a particular niche aspect of law, it's not going to know that in relation to your circumstance. People using it as a resource in terms of, okay, I want to structure something, it's good, but in terms of business, I'd always advise you to have a lawyer. If anything goes wrong, you can sue your lawyer. The reason why you would have legal services is that you're inoculated from that. You can say, look, I relied on legal advice and this is what I did. That's the purpose of having the professional service.
Thank you to Dr. Tunde for his legal
information and education.
Not advice, information and education. If you've got any questions or you're starting out your business, drop your questions in the comments, and next time Dr. Tunde is back, he will do his best to answer at least 2 of them, because it's obviously very time sensitive.
And if I don't make it back, because, you know, sometimes even though I do hang out with Daniel, I don't make it to weekly, you can follow Urban Lawyers because we provide, through my charity, lots of legal information and legal education.
That's it from us. Good night, God bless. It's Wednesday, we're in the yard, and the ECU for the Sprinter is back. It's gone all the way to Belgium, been unlocked, it's come back to the lads at Avon Tuning. We've gone from 150 brake to 170 brake, which is basically the next model up in that range of Sprinters. So let's get it on and see if it works. That's exactly what you need when you're working in a tight space. Someone climbing over the top of you trying to film it.
That's one. If I get the screws into the others, and then at least it'll hold it in place then. Just like that.
All right, we're in. The batteries are stone dead.
Oh, well, you're here, why don't you take that in the bed? Today's drawing on this.
Yep, we're fired up. In case you missed it last week, the lads from Avon Tuning are remapping the Sprinter van. I would like a little bit more power, but I don't want to go mad and turn this into some super drag racing nitros machine. When you have the additional power, the engine doesn't need to work as hard, and it should improve the fuel efficiency. I just want to ensure that before the van leaves the UK, I've done all I can to create the perfect vehicle for the work we're doing. So we're just going to let the batteries charge up a little bit before turning it off, and I have a little bit of a plan for something else that I would like to make for the back of this. bright idea, light bulb moment. And I called my mate, Welder Fabber. Baz is gonna create a frame. I'm gonna get a washer fitted with an IBC. We can use the forklift to take off the fuel tank or to take off this tire rig, put the washer on the back and be able to jet wash things down. I'm thinking one more item which is gonna go on here, but I haven't quite formulated the plan in my head. If you can think of something where Bazza can make me a frame that can twist lock into this and we can put something on the top to create the ultimate utility vehicle, which is what this Mercedes Sprinter is gonna be, let me know. Second lockbox complete on the flatbed. Secured in the same way, nice and strong, the weight taken at the back by the angle. We've checked them and the keys are not the same, so each lockbox has its own set of keys. Drop these guardrails back down. You want to make sure that these are going to be level, and then you want to line it up here. There we go, come on, jiggly, jiggly. Give it a little push. Safety pin around this side. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Rev it. Charging up nicely. Once again, just saying, mate, that I could plug in with my jowl test. But I'm just gonna let you plug it, you know, I don't wanna like steal your thunder, but I could plug in here and see what's going on. Remember guys, if you're a fitter or business owner who wants to look after your kit in-house, head to eclipse-tech.co.uk/Ashville to get yourself a jowl test diagnostic tool, which comes with backup technical support, handover and training at your premises like you saw me have a few weeks back. Using the code Ashville will get you a free AdBlue cleaning kit. The lads from Talking Shop were instrumental in me deciding to go for this kit, so I did a tell-all podcast with them. If you haven't seen it yet, and you like seeing me spill my guts, check it out. We're just doing a full scan. If there are faults, we'll clear it, turn it off, turn it back on, and see if those faults reoccur. And the real test is then to take this for a drive, go up and down, get it up to working temperature and see if anything happens then, but I don't think it will. And we are now just being specific, just into the engine ECU. Yeah. Come on, come on, come on. Hey! We are good to go, even though we are not going anywhere at the moment. We can turn her off, park her up, but for now, the work is done. Nice. See ya. Next, I'm going to order some pads for the handbrake on the 9-ton dumper. Now, if you take a look at this drawing, the pads are number 22, but if you order number 23, this is a full kit, and it's got this little folding spring bit. You should change that when you're changing the handbrake pads at the same time. It should be here in the next few days, and then once we get the new handbrake pads fitted on the 9-ton dumper, then it will be 100% and ready to ship. Delivery has arrived. Nice. Gonna make a start now on the 45-foot flatbed, but because of this weather, I'm gonna have to dry it a little bit, ensure that I've removed most of the moisture, wipe it down, just scurf it off a little bit, and don't start about my painting skills. Like, we are not a body shop. I'm just getting something on top of the metal to ensure that it doesn't rust. With a bit of heat as well, it should make the paint stick that bit better. Gonna let that dry a tiny bit and make a start on the other side and come back to it. I'll now do the two on the other side and then come back and give them a third coat. Both trailers done, but we're not going to tackle the dumper today because that's a much larger surface area. And that's it for Wednesday in the yard. First meeting of the day on the road in Central. Do not worry. Generally, when you see me in Central, it is the beginning of the end and I'm about to agree to something that I shouldn't agree to. But this is a little bit different. This is kind of like a battle which I lost, which I knew I was going to lose. But the only reason I got into a battle in the first place is to give me more breathing space so I could think clearly because there was so much going on at the time. So I'm going to meet the representatives from that company, come up with a solution and just fill in the gaps and explain to them what actually happened at the time. Because when people don't have all of the information, they fill in the gaps themselves and they come to conclusions. Best way to do it is to explain myself and then see where the chips lie at the end. Of course, I'm here, but work is continuing at the refurbishment project. We made a start last week and Dudek has almost made his way to the top of the stairs, fitting the bespoke stone on the risers. Simultaneously, the lads are working on the upright walls in the lower area where both the treads and risers are complete. Our base is ply and we're boarding using plasterboard, which needs to curve. To do this, we evenly slice one side of the plasterboard from one end to the other. The closer the cuts, the tighter the curve we can achieve. We leave the front layer untouched to act as a hinge and still have a smooth finish. We then flip over, mark up and cut to size. We dry fit to ensure we're spot on and then remove and apply expanding foam as an adhesive to bond with the ply. An offcut of ply is used to hold in place and flatten without causing any damage. We use 42mm plasterboard screws for a mechanical fix which sandwiches the plasterboard between both layers of ply and we leave to dry. The pillars at the bottom of the stairs have the smallest circle circumference and therefore tightest bend. So we increase the amount of slices by reducing the spaces between them. To ensure we are perfectly straight, we cut with a plunge saw connected to a guide rail. Then flip over, cut out, and get bending and fixing.
12 mm gdzieś tam przykręcić.
In the ensuite of bedroom 2, we have a full height tile to fit in a section which slots into the shower niche. The original size of this tile was 3 meters by 1 meter, so it took some cutting to get to this point. We apply adhesive to the wall, which was fitted with jackboard, and then to the tile. It's a 2-man job, so Sławek has had to leave the staircase boarding for a minute to give a hand. You need to get low and slot the top in first, as there is a recess for LED ambiance lighting. Use packers on the floor to ensure we do not have tile-on-tile contact and leave a gap for silicone, and then fix. We then use our twisty threaded clips by slotting them between the tiles before the adhesive has dried and twisting until the newly fitted tile has leveled up perfectly. You've seen us use this system many times in the past. This is our countertop worktop, which we have made from moisture-resistant MDF. The brackets are already fixed to the wall and our frame has cutouts for the supports and pipes so we can slot into place. We then cover in Jacko board, mechanically fixing with screws and washers like we did in the shower area, and get back to tiling. This tile is the lower face of the shower wall under the niche and has a cutout for the handheld shower. The meeting is complete and it went really well. When you're able to break down a situation to people and show them the other side, which they couldn't see, and they remove the information that they slotted in to fill in the pieces and they have a full picture, you know, if they're reasonable people, which they were, you can come to an agreement. So, and that agreement now means that I can close this off in my head. You know when you're on a web browser and you've got too many windows open and you need to just close them so you can focus, because sometimes when you've got something big hanging over your head, although you get on with day-to-day life, it kind of lingers in the background and then subconsciously it's bothering you and sometimes it's holding you back. You get on with it as best you can, but having this sorted out and an agreement now made, which I can honor, is like a breath of fresh air. And now I feel like I can push on because this has been parked. It just really reiterates the let's do it, let's make it happen, let's move on and do some great things. And that's it for today.
About 5 meters.
What have we got?
242.
Well, I might as well just put it up here. Hey, you've made it come off.
No, you're not holding it.
I'm holding it. We'll get it on. Are we 45 foot accurately?
Thereabouts.
Forks will tuck in underneath. What have we got?
About 650. How we do the weight?
You want me to climb in the mud, that's why you're doing it. All right, that's the widest point.
235. 220.
220.
Yeah.
Once we tuck the mirrors in,
Yeah.
should be all right. It's Friday morning. I'm in the yard, trying to begin to make a plan for loading containers and shipping. We want to put as much as possible into the 40-foot containers because that is the cheapest way of shipping internationally. But unfortunately, we've just had a measure up and the dumper is not going to fit. The 4-ton forklift is also not going to fit. So we think the next most logical place is to stick that on the flatbed. It is a 45 foot, but we thought we'd measure to double check. And by our calculations, we should get the 9-ton dumper, the forklift and fuel tank with twist locks on and then strap them down. We had to pay for the square footage within the hull of the ship, and with the stuff on top, we just pay for the additional weight and height. The 25-ton excavator will go onto the low loader. I'm gonna take the buckets and the breaker and I'm gonna stick them inside one of the containers. Then we have to concentrate on some of the containers in here, getting them sold to make some space to drop the reefer containers, but we have to wait till the reefer containers are loaded before we can do anything with the forklift, because the forklift is going to be crucial when we're loading the containers. Whoa. This brings back a lot of memories of the Ashville gym. I can see this makeshift equipment that are put together over time. There's a leg press, there's a running machine. I don't know how that got here. I don't ever remember having that in the old yard. There's an assault bike. That's definitely going with me. Unfortunately, the rubber dumbbells, the handles have gone a bit rusty. But I'm definitely taking the Ashville weights. Once I can get the majority of the stuff cleared out of here, I'll advertise this container for sale, and ideally the generator to be gone as well. There are a couple of people interested in, and once the generator is gone, we'll have a little bit more room so lorries can get in and out of here. Everything's gonna need to come out of this side because it's pretty tight round the other side. We did that on purpose for security. The 3-tonner won't be a problem at all. That can track its way straight into one of the containers. That'll probably be one of the last bits to go in. Now gonna take a look in these two containers up the top of the yard. Definitely gonna take these. It's not that full in here, they're just loads of bits and pieces. There are oils scattered all over the place. This is oils that I never threw away over the years. And if the oil isn't an oil that is specified for one of the bits of kit, I'm not taking it with me. Nuts and bolts, I think the oil drums are next door. I'll probably cut the top off one of the oil drums and then throw all the nuts and bolts in there and find a way to cover it. Stuff like this can come in handy. It's really to go through all of the stuff that we've got. Some of it will go in the scrap bin and some of it will go in the skip. But if we put like 2-ton bags by the door, then the forklift can pick them up and then take them to one of the 2 skips. Once this is emptied, I'll sell this one. That should give us a bit of room. Then when I've got space, I've got a double handle. You know, I'm the king of double, triple and quadruple handling. Take the stuff, what I'm keeping, and begin to take my time and pack these containers. You have to pack every inch. Like, you can't just drive something in and then slot something in the side. Like, you have to completely pack it all round, and that's the best way, because then everything is going to be secured. Okay, there's a lot more in here. All these are still full. Oh, well, there we go. There's one we can cut for the nuts and bolts. This is the top for the 1.5 tonner, which is at the refurbishment project that I've been holding on to bits because it may come in handy. They ain't gonna work anymore. I do have new tools. And of course, as you know, it's a sore subject for me, the fact that my lovely Snap-on toolbox was completely emptied over the years, and I gave up and I just stopped buying tools because all of them were just stolen off me. I've lost everything! I'm going again. I have regained my faith in humanity, and as always, I'm blaming myself. Once this container has the bits from the other one, then we'll load the reefers, then this container will be advertised for sale also. In one of the new containers, which will become a storage hub, I need to do new information boards for the oils and lubricants for our new kit, and probably a check-in, check-out area where people sign for tools, just so there's a little bit of accountability to give people the inspiration required to bring things back after they use it, instead of throwing it on the floor and then letting the machine track over it and then say,
nobody knows what happened, Dan.
These dispensers in the barrels of oil, they're all gonna have to come out and the oil is gonna have to be resealed. I can see a couple of caps over there. Because this is not secure for transportation, we'll probably take another barrel, cut the top off it, and put all of these in the barrel, put some cling film over it to secure it. Because if you get like rubbish and little bits on these, and then you put them back in the oil after, that could go into the engine, into the hydraulic system, and you have got filters, but you don't want to give yourself those sort of problems. And I think for in here, that is about it. We have a plan which will probably kick off early next week, and I will try to book in those reefer containers because they need to be inspected and CSC certified before they get to us, so when they're loaded I can ship them with no problem, and I'll get the ball rolling. That's it for Friday. You give it a go.
The interior lights ain't even coming on.
Stone dead?
Yeah. What I might do is though, while it's all off,
Yeah.
I'll get the instrument cluster fitted.
Okay. Morning. It's Saturday and I'm in the yard. The old yard to be exact. Saw a couple of weeks back talking about the volumetric. I'm in two minds. Should I keep it and export it and use it to make our own concrete, or should I sell it? But the dash instrument cluster is completely dead, so I need to put a new one in, because if I am selling it or if I am taking it away, it does need a new one. And you don't want to sell anything to anyone which you know yourself isn't 100%. Obviously, when you sell something used, there's always a chance something's going to happen, but you want to know within yourself that you sold them a good bit of kit. We have to completely take apart the dash, take the old one out, put a new one in, then we'll try to jump start the lorry.
Where the dash is dead, you can't retrieve the software, so you have to receive it from the cloud. My name's Louis, by the way, and today we're fixing the Ashville Volvo. Looks better, doesn't it?
Lovely. Yeah, not too much different.
One's just collected more dust and it doesn't work anymore, but nice, shiny and new. The truck will be back on the road. You saw how long it took to take it all apart. Oh, Jake, it just goes back together and all clips back in. Lovely. Now we've just got little ones here.
This is fully charged up.
Oh, lovely.
Let's test. Well, we've got 26.
Beautiful.
Come on. Whoa.
We'll let that just sit for a minute.
The moment of truth. New instrument cluster is in. Lorry's put back together. Jump pack is on. Turn the key. Hey, look at that. Let's try and start her. Nah. Still stone dead. We need to give it a minute to build up some charge. Because the batteries are so dead, when we finally do get it started, we're going to have to put it into high idle for about 15 minutes to build it up a little bit. Because when you're doing the programming, you don't need the engine on, but you do need the ignition on, and you need it to hold charge long enough to do all of the NASA computer brain surgeon bits. Louis about to start the programming. I should actually change the batteries on this because I'm trying to save money by not putting the batteries on, because who knows when it's going to be sold or if it's going to be shipped. But is that just not a false economy? Because if I pay for a set of batteries and it goes on and it turns on quickly, that could be the difference in having a sale and not having a sale. Or if I have to do more work on it, having to jump start it repeatedly, if that's going to lose an hour every time you get on the lorry, then was it worth trying to save the money? Is time not the most important commodity? But at the same time, you have to watch how much you're spending, and you can't just be throwing money at everything. If you've got kit, you need the kit to be in working order if you need to use it or if you need to move it on. I'm trying to not allow the past to burn me and make me think, well, I'm going to start penny pinching, because that isn't the way you need to think. You need to be more calculated and not spend frivolously, but at the same time, you can't lure yourself into false economies which aren't actually helping you, hindering you, and then costing you more money later. So now, on the right-hand side of the dash, this is the area where the information, when you're programming, the menu is fed into there. So at the moment, that side of the dash is in demo mode. All of the options from the steering wheel to get the diagnostic information and everything about the truck will be taken from a cloud, and the software will be implanted into this, and then we'll give it another try, see if we can work our way through the menu, see if we can take the information out of it. And at that point, I'll just move it forward a little bit just to make sure the speedometer is working well. And then we should be on our way. whenever that is. We could be here for another couple of hours, unfortunately, isn't it, Louis? Louis laughing.
We have a problem. So this is your OBD2 socket, and when you connect the diagnostic, all these wires are basically what connect to the central system of the truck. But over time, they suffer years of abuse with being plugged in. And this one has decided, I've had enough abuse, and I don't know if you can see that, but we've decided to de-pin. Let's try and do something just to make it work. As long as we get it programmed, Daniel's a happy man.
Happy's a strong word. Daniel will be a satisfied man. It's not you, and historically, this is a Saturday at Ashville. Every time it's a Saturday and you think you're going to do a quick shift or get some bits done, it never, ever works.
Saturday, I'm in the yard. We're trying to diesel up lorries with a broken diesel pump.
Pin it out from the back, strip the wire back a bit, put it in there to make the connection, and then jobs are good and we're ready to go. It wasn't having any sort of communication whatsoever, or it was struggling communication. What we've had to do is pin out the back of the plug to get a good connection, and then pin it to the computer plug or the interface plug to get a good connection to finally do the programming.
Oh man, it's Saturday, we're in the yard, and the time is 1:44 p.m. and we're still here. We're gonna make it happen. I'm gonna get this done one way or another. The moment of truth. Yes. Trip computer, heater timers, favorite displays, settings, maintenance. Let's go in there. User data, breakware. Yes, everything is here. Now finally, speedometer and our rev gauge. Not only is it working well, but it's feeling smooth. I'm just remembering how smooth these Volvo engines are on these upgraded chassis, 44 ton, I tell you, but legally can go on the road in the UK at 38.5 ton until the end of 2028. On the road again. Daniel is rolling on the road again. Albeit in the old yard, but Daniel is rolling on the road again. A good end to a challenging week, which was at the same time fun, because I'm really excited about the way everything is pushing on. Plenty more decisions to make, plenty more work to do, but we are in a good place. And that is it for Ashville Weekly, episode 253. Click here to the Ashville website, click here to subscribe to our channel, click down here to see an Ashville video you may not have seen before, and click down here for last week's episode, which was number 252. Oh. This truck brings back a lot of memories.